Thank you for watching the Courtney Hall Show. I am with a very powerful, inspirational, very talented person. It's Mallory Henderson. How are you doing, Mallory?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Now, I want to jump right into it because I've been waiting to interview you. So you have a song called Fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
How did you create that song?
Well, Fantasy came from a place of bliss.
Okay.
At the time, I was in a relationship, and I was in that stage where like everything was perfect, everything was too good to be true almost, and it was kind of that, cloud nine feeling that we get. So I just sat down and started writing about that relationship and that feeling, and Fantasy was born.
Yeah, that's so nice. Now, when did you start making music?
Well, I started singing before I can remember, really.
Okay.
As far as actually recording, I started in high school. I would feature on other artists' music, and I started recording my own music actually when I was 18, but I never released anything.
Nice.
So as far as actually releasing it, I went back and started recording things when I was about 25.
25. So you're also a mental health advocate. Talk about that.
Well, in my freshman year of college, I actually went through a bout of severe depression myself. I just realized that if a normal girl like me were going through something that bad, something that shocking, anybody else could as well. So at first I started blogging and just sharing my daily experience with people to let them know that, it's not just you.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people going through the same thing. And then that turned into my annual charity birthday party, which raises funds to send minority young adults to therapy.
Nice.
So that's a cause that's near and dear to my heart.
Nice.
Yeah.
Talk about this charity. That's like freaking amazing. Only because, like you said, people, if you have mental health, there's not a one way that you have to look. Like you can look like me, like you, like anyone. So talk about the charity that you have.
Well, so it's right now, it's not a foundation, it's just a party. But basically, I love birthdays.
Yeah.
They're so important to me, and I love to celebrate. I'll celebrate finding a penny on the ground. So I love to celebrate. So I took that passion and for years I had always wanted to throw a birthday party that was bigger than just me.
Yeah.
And so finally I got the opportunity to do that. And at first the cause was not mental health, but it quickly changed into that because it just made sense.
Nice.
So it's literally a day or night every year that me, my family, my friends, even the public comes together to celebrate my birthday, January birthdays, but also to recognize that we are all normal people, but somebody in this room, somebody you know and somebody you love is probably going through these things.
Yeah.
So while we're celebrating, let's also recognize that and raise money for it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Now you also have music out on YouTube. Talk about your music selection. So who do you look to for an inspiring person? Like, who do you look to for that?
The top two are absolutely Chris Brown. I think he's so talented. He's my favorite artist of all time.
Why?
Everything he touches turns to gold.
That's true.
Everything.
That is true.
And he's an all-around performer. He has that X factor.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do that doesn't turn out entertaining. So I really look up to him for that. And I always tell people if I end up with at least half of his talent, I've got it made.
Yes. I feel like Chris Brown and Sierra, those two, they can dance, they can sing, they can do everything, but definitely Chris Brown. He can act, he can sing, he can dance, he can perform.
Yes.
And I think that's what you have too as well.
Thank you.
Even in your presence right now, it's like, okay, this is Mallory. Now, what are some of your goals with music?
Oh, so speaking of Chris Brown, to work with him is my ultimate goal.
Okay.
I was talking to someone the other day and they were like, well, what awards do you want to win? And I was like, I just want to work with Chris Brown. Okay. That's it.
Let me do that.
That's
and then I'm good.
If y'all want to give me some awards on the way,
Right.
that's fine.
Right.
But, so I definitely want to work with him. But I also want to build a platform big enough to influence masses of people, whether it be on the mental health front, whether it be other social issues. I just want a platform to influence because I recognize the opportunity that you have when you're recognized worldwide, and why not do something with that?
Yeah. Now, what would you say to your younger self if you had the opportunity to talk to your younger self? What would you say?
Definitely don't give up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what other people think. And sometimes it doesn't even matter what you think because what's for you is for you. So stop psyching yourself out.
It is Sunday today, so wait a minute. Where's the collection plate? Because you're preaching. I love that. So
yeah, what's for you is for you.
Yeah.
So don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
Stop putting yourself down. And whatever you've been called to do it. Don't wait.
So what's next for you as far as projects?
Well, actually, I am in the process of finishing up my debut EP.
Yes.
So I know I've released 2 singles in the past year, but next is the release of the EP.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank
Early
you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so can you sing for us?
Sure.
Okay.
Would you like to hear Fantasy or a well-known song that we...
You know what? I'm
love?
going to let you decide. I'm going to
Okay.
let you decide.
Okay.
Yeah.
So am I singing to the camera?
Yes, you can
Okay.
sing to the camera.
Okay. So this is my latest single, Fantasy. The chorus goes a little something like this. Better than a fantasy. Better than a fantasy. Better than a fantasy. Better than a better than a better than a fantasy. Better than a fantasy. Better than a fantasy. Better than a better than a
Nice. That's so good. You have that soulful, rich, voice. I love that. I love that. Now, how can we support you? Where can we go to support you and find you?
Absolutely. So I always tell people the hub of my information is on Instagram.
Okay.
And my Instagram is I am Mallory, IAMMALLORY. And there you can find my website, the links to my music, the links to my YouTube, information about the party, everything.
Yeah. Okay, okay. One thing before you go, what has being in quarantine taught you?
Wow. It has definitely taught me how to take more time and strategize and work on my brand. It's also taught me how to balance out work and life and find time for everything, because really there's nothing else you can do while you're sitting at home.
Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. Now, one other question, and this is gonna be my last question because I'm like one more. But what do you think about the Houston scene as far as music? Do you think people are supportive of one another, or do you see that it's kind of like a division, like there's a divide between everybody?
I think that people in Houston are supportive of each other, but not supportive enough. For me, I've noticed groups that may be supportive, but it's not a collective of all those groups.
Oh, okay.
You know?
So you have to get into a group, and then that group will support you.
Yeah, and the only way that you can really get the most support is if you're within all of those groups. So I do think Houston is definitely on the come up, and I think we're learning, so we'll get there.
And what do you categorize yourself as? Are you an R&B singer? Are you a neo soul singer? What are you, a pop singer? Like, what do you say that you are?
I hate to put myself in a box
Yeah.
because I love all music and I try to fuse it all together to make my music.
Yeah.
But if I have to categorize myself, it would be R&B pop.
R&B pop. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mallory, for coming on. You're gonna have to come back whenever your EP comes out and talk to us about it, and maybe do another performance or something like that. But yeah, you're definitely awesome. You're definitely great.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching another episode of The Courtney Hall Show.